Hello sew lovers, welcome back to another interesting tutorial on this channel. I will be teaching you how to make 25 different trendy necklines on this channel today, and this tutorial is really beginners friendly. So I'll be teaching you how to sew all these necklines you are seeing right here. So just grab your fresh pattern paper and let's get started. I've already drafted all my pattern papers for these necklines, and I have my basic bodice pattern from which I drafted all those patterns. So you need your pattern rulers, your scissors, pencil. You also need your measuring tape. So I need you to understand that when the depth of your neckline is deeper, the width has to be shorter. If your neck depth is longer, the width has to be shorter, or else the neckline will not relax. So the first neckline we are going to take right now is the keyhole neckline. The depth is 3.5. The width is also 3.5. So I'm going to connect the basic neckline because the keyhole neckline has two necklines. So my basic neckline is 3.5 by 3.5 inches. From the basic neckline depth, I'm going to count. From the neckline depth, I'll count 2 inches and mark where my keyhole will start. Then it will stop at 7.5 inches. Next, I'm going to find the midpoint of those 2 points. So this midpoint, I'm going to use broken lines to highlight it. So on this broken line, I'm going to take the width of my keyhole. It can be 4, it can be 4.5 inches, it can even be 6 inches or 6.5, but I'm using 4.5. So I'll place my ruler this way and connect the first keyhole and place my ruler the other way to connect the second keyhole. I use different shapes for the second keyhole. So I'm using my pencil to show the first method. And the second method can be like a sweetheart shape. So I'll be cutting out the sweetheart shape of my keyhole. So I'll go through the sweetheart shape, and this is what the keyhole looks like. So you can see the keyhole neckline is beautiful, right? Then if you want to cut through the other pencil point, if you want your keyhole to have that shape, this is what you are going to have. So this is the keyhole neckline. Next on the list is the sweetheart neckline. So my neck width is 4 inches. The neck depth is 7.5 inches. Then I'm going to mark 4 inches horizontally again, and I'm going to create a square to create my sweetheart neckline. Then I'm going to measure 3.5 inches on that line. Then I will bring in my pattern ruler. So I want you to watch how I'm placing my pattern ruler for the sweetheart. So I'll take it to the center front. Now I'm going to cut through the sweetheart neckline. And this is what we have. This is the sweetheart neckline. I hope it's beautiful. Next on the list is the boat neckline. The boat neckline is usually longer on the width. So I'm using 5.5 inches for the width and 3 inches for the depth. I always like to use 5.5 inches for the width of my canoe neckline or my boat neckline. You can just give it a try. You can also use 6 inches on the width, but the longer the width, the shorter the depth. So this is the boat neckline or canoe neckline. You can see the neckline right there. Next on the list is the beautiful Queen Anne neckline. I love to use 2.5 inches for the width, and from the shoulder I come down by 5.5 inches. Then on that 5.5 inches, I'm going to mark a straight line to the sleeve area and come in by 2.5 inches. I love to use 8 inches for the depth of my Queen Anne neckline. It makes it sit very properly. Now I want you to watch me connect the 2.5 inches on the arm to the 8 inches of the depth. Then connect the 2.5 inches width to the 2.5 inches coming from the sleeve area. So I also want to tighten the neckline. So you can see I came down by 0.25 inches just to tighten it. And if you want to create a beautiful shape, I love to put this curvy shape on my Queen Anne. It's optional though. So I'll just go ahead and cut out my Queen Anne neckline. So this is my Queen Anne neckline. It's looking very beautiful. I really love this neckline. Next on my list is the multiple neckline. So this multiple neckline has two necklines. The first is at 3 inches and the second is at 6 inches depth, and the width is 3 inches. Now I'm going to connect the width of 3 to the first depth of 3 inches. I'm going to take the measurement from the first neck depth to the second neck depth and mark what you have. I have 3 inches all around. So for the second neckline, I'm going to connect all the points as you can see right here. So this is the space at which we are going to place our multiple keyholes. So to get this multiple keyhole neckline very appropriately, I'm going to fold my paper into two and measure that space. So that space I measured now is 3 inches. That is the difference between the first neckline and the second neckline. So 3 inches is the depth. Then I'm going to mark 0.75 as the width. At the middle of these 3 inches, mark 0.75. You can also use 1 inch depending on how wide you want your multiple keyhole to be. So you can see me positioning my ruler right now. So this is actually how you are going to position your ruler to create the multiple keyhole. So I'll now go over to cut out that shape. This is an oval shape. So this particular shape, I'm going to use it to create my keyhole. So when you open it, you can see the keyhole. So I'm going to place it on fold at the center front and trace out the shape, the oval shape I cut on this paper. Now from that point, I'm going to mark 1 inch spacing. So I'm marking 1 inch spacing and I'll open up my paper now. So make sure you position it very well. You can see how I stylishly positioned it. So whatever position you want to put on this keyhole, just place it as you can see right there. So I'm going to come out again. My spacing is just 1 inch. So I continued keeping it on the spacing of that 1 inch to create the keyhole. So at the end of the day, I also measured what I have on the down spacing to make sure it's uniform. I measured them before I placed my paper. So now I'm going to trace out what I have on the keyhole on this side. So I also have the same thing on the other side. You remember my paper is on fold. So since my paper is on fold, once I trace right now, I'm going to open up the paper. For me, I'm seeing the tracings, but for you, you might not see the tracings. So I'll just go ahead and follow the tracings I'm seeing right there to create the other necklines, okay, the keyholes on the other side. So this is called a multiple keyhole neckline. Now I'm going to cut the multiple keyhole neckline off, and once I cut it off, I will use the same pattern to cut. So this neckline really has a technique to sew. Don't just go and cut and sew, okay? So you can just check on the channel to see how keyhole necklines are being sewn, okay? But this is how to draft the keyhole neckline. So I'll just go ahead and take my time and cut all of them off for tutorial purpose, for you to see how multiple necklines can be created. So the next thing I'm going to do after cutting out the multiple holes, I'm going to cut out my neckline. So this neckline width can be 3.5 inches, it can be 3 inches. So this is my multiple keyhole neckline. So this neckline is actually very lovely and beautiful. Next is the square neckline. So this square neckline can come in different ways. The first neck width is 3 and the second neck width is 4. The first neck depth, I'm going to use 5 inches, and I'll also go in by 3 inches. That is, if you want to make your squared neckline very smaller, you can use 3 inches on width and 5 inches on depth. But if you want to make it wider, you can use 6 or 7 inches on the depth, then 4 inches on the width. But of course, for this wider square neckline, you actually need to tighten the bust area to avoid gaping. So the tightening issue is another tutorial of it, so you can check out my channel to understand it. So I'm cutting the first neckline, okay, the squared neckline, and if you want the second one, you just cut through the second line. So here is the squared neckline. So it's just a simple or basic neckline. So next on the list is the asymmetric neckline. So I'm going to come in by 2.5 inches on one side, and I'm going to measure 4 inches on the armhole side, and then from that armhole I will go in by 3 inches. Then I'm going to connect. That is, if you want to make this kind of asymmetric you are seeing right here on the screen, this is how to go about it. There are different kinds of asymmetric. So on the center front, I'm going to come down by 5 inches. Then I'm going to open up this paper. That is why it's called asymmetric. They are not equal at all on the both sides. So you can measure 2.5 inches, you can measure 1 inch on one side, just make it asymmetric, okay? Then I'm going to connect from the 2.5 inches to the 5 inches on the center front, then into the armhole. So this neckline is very beautiful, as you can see right there on the screen. So this neckline, I can also modify it in another way. It can also be like this. You just mark straight, as you can see on the screen, and connect this way. Or you can also come on the other side and mark like 5 or 6 inches and connect back to the 2.5 inches. So all these are types of asymmetric. So I'm going to cut through the asymmetric neckline you are seeing right there on the screen right now. So I'm going to cut it out, and this is called the asymmetric neckline. It's beautiful, right? Yes, this is actually very beautiful. So you can be creative to make different kinds of asymmetric. Is inverted Queen Anne neckline. So I'm going to use 3 inches on the width and 7 inches on the depth. You can also use 8 inches on the depth. Then I'll go in by 4.5 inches from the 8 inches, 7 inches depth. Then I'm going to come down by 1.5 or 2 inches on that 3 inches width. Then I'm going to place my tape and come in from the center front by 2.5 inches. Then you connect a little U neckline at that point. So this is a stylish inverted neckline. Some people call it W neckline as well. Then at the center front, I'm going to come up by 2 inches, and then I'm going to connect. So here is the W neckline or inverted Queen Anne neckline. Of course, this is actually very stylish, as you can see right there on the screen. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So this is my inverted Queen Anne neckline. So this is it, and it's actually looking very beautiful and cute. Neckline can come in as a U first and now go down. As you can see in the picture up on the screen, it can also come in this form as well. This is the inverted Queen Anne neckline. Next on the list is the V neckline. The depth can be 7 inches, it can be 6 inches, and the width I'm using 3.5 inches, or it can be 3 inches. Now I can connect with a straight line, but I love to use the curvy part of my ruler. Okay, just give it a try. I love this V neckline when it is curvy like this. I'll just go ahead and cut out the straight part for you to see. So if you want to cut the straight part, this is what you have. But like I said, I love the curvy parts. So I'll just go ahead and cut out the curvy part for you to see. So you can see the curvy V neckline is very beautiful. So this is called the V neckline. So on my list is the halter neckline. The halter neckline is usually 3 inches width and 3 inches depth, because it's usually a high neck. So the width is 3 inches and the depth is 3 inches. Then I'll come down by 1.5 inches on the side of the neckline. It all depends on your design, okay? So for this design, I'll come down by 1.5 inches and connect on that neckline to the armhole. So for this particular halter neckline, it can be on like this on the picture, having a high neck, and it can also be like this on the picture, having a lower neck. So the lower neck can be 1.5 inches or 2 inches, as you see me mark right here. So if you are going with the lower neck, which is on this side of this picture right now, this is what you have. So if you want to learn how to sew this, click halter neck on this channel and you are going to see this exact halter neckline. So for the one that will carry a collar, I will cut out the part that carries a collar because it's most popular for halter neck. So this is the halter neckline. Next on the list is the scoop neckline. The depth is 7 inches and the width is 4 inches. So I'm going to mark 4 inches on that depth, then connect my points like a square first. So I'm remarking 4 inches. Okay, so the width is 4 inches and the depth is 7 inches. It can also be 6 inches depth depending on how low or how high you want the scoop neckline. So but the scoop neckline is usually deeper, that's why it's called scoop. So I'll just go ahead and connect the scoop neckline. I'm going to cut out this neckline right here. 4 inches is the width and 7 inches is the depth. I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So here I'll open it up for you to see what I have here. This is the scoop neckline. So next on our list is the wrap neckline. So I will come down by 7 inches. So the wrap neckline, the deeper you go, the more open it is. So on the width I took 3.5 inches. Then it can be a full wrap or half wrap. For the half wrap, I'm going to come in by 4 inches on the side. Then I'm going to come up by 2.5 inches. So you measure 2.5 inches for a half wrap. Then for the full wrap, you mark at the end of it. So we are going to connect the 3.5 inches width to the 7 inches depth up to the 2.5 inches for the half wrap. Then from that 7 inches neck depth, for a full wrap, you connect all the way to the end, the side of the dress. So you will cut 2 times of this neckline. You can also watch on this channel how to sew a wrap neckline. So if you want a wrap neckline, you can type wrap on this channel for you to watch how to make a wrap dress. Next on my list is the turtle neckline. So this turtle neckline is actually a high neckline and it's usually 3 by 3 inches. 3 inches on the width and 3 inches on the depth. So if you want a turtle neckline like this, you have to just cut it out the way it is and attach your collar. But if you want a stylish neckline, a stylish turtle neckline, I'll just go ahead and complete the neckline, open up the dress because this is a symmetric neckline right now for a turtleneck. So I'll just come down by 4 inches at the center front, and on the side is an off shoulder. I'll just come down by 3.5, as you can see in this picture. So I'm drafting the turtle neckline that is like this you are seeing right here on the picture. So I'll go ahead and connect the center front, as you can see. So the next I will do is to cut off this part. One side is going to be an off shoulder while the other side is a turtleneck. So this is called asymmetric turtle neck. So you just now attach a collar, just cut out your collar and attach on the neck line. So the next we are going to take right now is the off shoulder neckline. So for the off shoulder neckline is usually 4 or 5 inches from the shoulder line. You come down or you off by 4 or 5 inches. So on that line I will mark 5.5 inches. It can also be 5 inches, that is the strap to strap. So the strap to strap is standard. So from that 5.5 you connect to the armhole. Then for a sweetheart, you can come down by 2 inches and connect from your strap to strap like that. Okay. So you can also connect a U neckline from that strap to strap, you know. So any style you want. If you want it straight, you go like this. If you want it sweetheart, we have 3 lines there to cut. So I'm going to cut it straight for you to see how it looks like. This is my off shoulder straight neckline, and you attach your sleeve, or you can cut out the sweetheart neckline piece of it. I love the sweetheart neckline for an off shoulder, and that is what I usually use. So this is the off shoulder neckline. So next on the list is the leaf neckline. So I'll come down by 7.5 inches, and the width is 3.5. So I'll come in by the same 3.5 inches. So I'll connect a square first. You come up by 2 inches, then sit in your ruler at that point and go in a little bit and invert your ruler like a sweetheart to the center front and connect finally. So this is just a stylish neckline. It's called a leaf neckline, and it's actually very beautiful. So this is my leaf neckline. It's beautiful, right? Yes, of course, it's very, very beautiful. This is the leaf neckline. So next on my list is the mono strap neckline. So I'll come down by 5.5 on the center front for the mono strap. Then you open up your pattern. Then you are going to come in from the center front by 4 inches. So from the center front, I will place my tape and come in. The width is 4 inches for the mono strap. Then you connect 4 inches to the 5.5 inches on the depth at the center front. Then invert your ruler and connect to the armhole line. So this is the mono strap. So the mono strap can be like this, or you can also give a little curve to it like this. So it is mono because it's one. Mono means one, okay, that is one sleeve. Next on the list is the diamond neckline. So the depth is 7.5 and the width is 4 inches. So I'm just going to create a square of 4 inches width and 7.5 depth. So I'll come up by 3 inches and connect to the center front, and I'll also make a curve. As you can see me place my pattern ruler just stylishly. So here is the diamond neckline. So you can see the diamond neckline is stylish and beautiful. So this is the diamond neckline. Next on my list is the cow neckline. So for the cow neckline, you just mark it out on the chest line, then come up by 1.5 inches and connect to the center front. So once you do that, you just slash it open from the center front. Then I'm going to demonstrate to you how this works. You can also watch on my channel. I have a detailed video on how to sew this, but I brought a piece of fabric to show you. So you just place your fabric on fold, just like the paper is on fold, and you keep opening it. The more you open, the more it falls. But I like to open at 7 inches. So if I open it up at 7 inches, so the fall does not expose my bust area. So I opened at 7 inches. Then you are going to cut straight. After cutting straight, then you are going to add your seam allowance on the shoulder seam line. So once you get to the shoulder seam line, make a notch, okay? Make sure you make a notch before cutting out the armhole and adding your side seam allowances. So on that part I notched right now, that is where I'm going to attach the back piece. So to learn more on how to make this cow neckline, please visit Cow Neckline on Simbright YouTube channel. So this is what you are going to have right there. So this pattern is called the cow neckline. We're going to draw the wing neckline. So as the name depicts, wing. So you are going to attach a fresh pattern paper to your neckline. I'm going to attach my paper on the shoulder line. So you just go ahead and attach a fresh paper on the shoulder line, so we'll be able to cut out the wing. So this neckline is actually very beautiful but technical to sew. So I just grabbed my adhesive and I'm attaching the shoulder line. So now we are going to take the measurement from the center front. You come up by 6 or 5 inches, then your width 4 inches. So I'm using 4 inches as my width. So I'm going to extend 4 inches width by 6 inches on both sides and create a square, as you can see me do right here. So I'm highlighting the center front. So the next I'm going to do is to cut out the square. Then I'm going to diagonally place my ruler. But before I do that, just come down to the neck depth of your desire. So I'm using 7 inches as my neck depth. Then I'm going to diagonally mark to the next neckline. So after which we are going to cut out this wing neckline. So the wing neckline is a trendy neckline. So you can also check on the YouTube channel to see how this wing neckline is sewn. So right here, you can fling your wing neckline to the left, as I'm doing right here. So you just go ahead and fold it to the left, or you can also turn it the other way around and fold it to the right. So your wing neckline can be to the left or to the right. Okay, so this is called the wing neckline. So you can see the wing, just like a wing. This is a stylish keyhole neckline. So the neck depth is 6.5 inches. So I've marked a straight line, and from the armhole part, I like to come in by 2.5 inches, then come up by 3.5 inches and connect a straight line. Next, I'm going to measure 3 inches from that line, okay? Then I'll connect a triangle. Next, I'll come to the center front and mark 1 inch or 0.75 and mark diagonally, okay, at exactly 1 inch. So wherever it touches the width of the neckline, that will be the width of my neckline. So I just felt like bringing that triangle a little bit up. So I took it a little bit up. So here it can be in different forms, this multiple neckline. It can be like this or like that, but provided it has a right angle triangle in between the sleeve area, that makes it a stylish neckline. So this is my stylish neckline. Okay, it has a space at the center and you can also connect directly. Next is the deep step neckline. So the deep step neckline, I'm using 7 inches for the depth and 4 inches for the width. It can also be 3.5 inches for your width. Then you connect a square first. You come up by 4 inches. Then with your pattern ruler, you begin to make step by step. You will make curves, step by step curves. That is why it's called a deep step. So I'll just keep making those curves until it gets to the center front. So that makes it a deep step neckline. It's actually a stylish neckline. So I'll just go ahead and make the curves prominent. Make sure the more curvy the neckline, the more beautiful it looks. So I'll just go ahead and curve, cut out the curves. So when you open it up, you see the deep step neckline. So next on our list is the round neckline. The round neckline, I like to use 4.5 inches depth by 4 inches width. 4.5 inches by 4 inches width. So you can use 4 by 4, that is 4 inches depth and 4 inches width. Then diagonally you come out by 1 inch and then sit your ruler on that 1 inch to the both ends to get your accurate curve. So this is my round neckline, and I'm going to cut out the round neckline. It's actually a popular neckline, especially for beginners. Right here is my round neckline, and that is how I'll come to the end of this tutorial.